You're listening to The Fellas with Anthony McCoy,
Listen, man, that wasn't my fault. It was an unknown error.
Rich Thurston,
Someone said it was like the Bulls never changed their passwords, and Tibbs just popped in and did an auto trade.
Kev Lund,
We're out here doing this podcast, and these fools are out here blowing Super Bowls. Like, let's switch that up. Pay me a cool million, and I'll call the right place. I promise you.
and Kyle Straub.
When one of those point guards is James Harden, yes, the answer is yes, they are a better team.
Thanks for tuning in to The Fellas. Kyle Straub with you here. Another weekend in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We've got a good show on tap for you today. Throughout the week when we have our group chats, we always will send out these little memes and stuff. Usually Rich sends them out. And it's what we're going to start at the top of our show off with today, because the one he sent out this week was a list of players. Pick 3 of them in the NBA, and you start your career with it. And we're going to start with it because we each have our own opinions. But, Rich, I'm going to throw it back out to you to start again this week, because when you threw it up on Twitter, I noticed a lot of people responding to it. So why don't you give us your team and then kind of what happened on Twitter? What were the majority of the people picking?
All right, so
And actually, hold on. Should we read off who it is? since
yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
All right, go ahead and read it off first.
Yeah, since
meme
Rich
is-
is the king of memes over there. I like that.
It said among these 3 players, pick 3 to start your franchise. All primes, no injuries, so none of them are hurt. And it has Scottie Pippen, Reggie Miller, Dwight Howard, Tracy McGrady, Ray Allen, Rondo, Chris Webber, Gary Payton, Anthony Hardaway, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Carmelo, Powell, Zoe, and Derrick Rose.
And
Don't
Nasty
forget
left
about
out.
don't forget about Steve
I
Nash.
like
And
that.
he's got like the smallest picture.
He does. They just kind of
Him and-
snuck him in there.
Him, Rondo, and Powell.
It's a true Lakers fan.
So
Powell's got rings. He should be a bigger picture than that.
that's right. I think he's got the second most on here. But off the top of my head, I went with Dwight, Grant Hill, and Penny. So those are my 3. Dwight was a monster. I don't care what anyone has to say about him. Grant Hill was probably like non-jacked up athletic-wise LeBron. And Penny was a beast before
Hell
he
yeah.
got hurt. Like Penny Hardaway was like unstoppable before he got hurt. Look at Kev.
So-
Yeah, Kev.
Yeah.
He's got a Hardaway jersey. So I do have a question about Hardaway, because I didn't go with him. Do you think he was so good because of Shaq? Or do you think he would have been good no matter what team he was on?
I think he was good no matter what team he
Yeah.
was on.
Boy was nice.
He was
Yeah,
balling regardless.
yeah. He was like 6'7". He could handle the ball. He could do
It
it
was
all.
just a question to throw out there, because it was, coincidental that it also happened to be where his game completely started to fall off the same time that Shaq left. So,
So his
Injuries.
game fell off because he got hurt.
Though,
He
yeah.
blew that
No, I
knee
know,
out.
I know. I'm saying it's a coincidence that those two just happen to happen at the same time. So somebody could just say, well, no, Penny just sucked. It was because of Shaq. That's all.
That person would be
Oh.
wrong.
Get out of here.
So who was the majority of people on Twitter out there picking?
On Twitter, I took a couple screenshots. I didn't take screenshots of all of them because there were too many replies.
Yeah, there was a good amount of them that responded.
But actually, Dwight, T-Mac, and Penny had a lot of they were in maybe not the same teams, but there was a mix of those.
Orlando
3
fans, man. Dominating
Yo.
you.
Where are they coming from?
One guy actually tweeted to me. He was like, Orlando put out some talent. And he's absolutely correct. Like
Yeah?
Shaq, Penny, T-Mac, they had Grant Hill, but he kept on getting hurt. Dwight, and they drafted Chris Webber.
Yeah.
That's how they got Penny.
Terribly
So
run
even if they would've
organization.
kept Chris Webber and Shaq would have been a problem.
Yeah, that would have been really good because Weber can do Weber would be able to play really good now in today's NBA. I feel like because he could do pass and dribble and he could do everything. Whereas a lot of guys in his time weren't like that at that position.
Yeah, that's why those Kings teams were so nice.
Yeah, they were nice until they needed to play, and then they would choke every time, except for Bibby.
Couldn't hit them free throws, man.
Peja was choking, Weber was choking, Doug Christie was choking.
All
Bobby
studs.
Jackson was choking.
So, Kev, when Rich sent this out, McCoy and I had responded, and we'll both give our teams in a minute, but I haven't heard if you had picked one yet, and if not, what were the three that you would start with off this list?
Well, me and Rich are pretty much similar. I swapped out Dwight for Powell. I'm all about some Penny Hardaway and some Grant Hill, Duke Michael Jordan. But Pau Gasol, I just think in today's NBA and what he could do. I mean, really, Dwight or Pau. I mean, Dwight gives you a lot more defense than Pau, but I'm just going all offense, and I think that ball movement with them three, all healthy, and they kind of all complement each other. I'm for it. I was contemplating throwing Melo in there, and then I was like, Prime Melo is the biggest black hole ever. So yeah, he was nice, but the ball wasn't coming out of there. So yeah, I'm really with Rich, but I'm swapping out Dwight for Powell.
McCoy, go ahead. What was your team? I don't remember exactly what yours was.
I'm going to be a total homer, and I'm going to pick Derrick Rose, Scottie Pippen, and Pau Gasol. Because they're all Bulls.
And that's the reasoning for it, no other?
That's the exact reason for it. Scotty's locking down whoever else is on that list on the wing, so we got that covered. Rose is blowing by everybody, and then we can just dump it into Pau.
All right, well, my list, when I originally looked at it, I went with Grant Hill because, Rich, I'm with you. Like, that dude, and if we're talking no injuries, that's a big part of this. He was a monster.
Especially
So I want him out on the
in
court.
the jersey he's wearing right there too. He was a beast.
Yeah, in that Pistons jersey, yeah.
With the Filas on.
Another dude who was a monster in his prime was Tracy McGrady. And my thinking with my team is Tracy's going to be the main scorer. Grant Hill can play both ways. And originally I had told you guys Derrick Rose, but I've changed my mind. I'm actually going to go with the glove. And I know you guys think that he was like the last on your list here. But I want that.
I thought Derrick Rose
Is it-
was.
Oh, Derrick Rose is who you meant was last.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm going with Gary Payton, though, because you got a dude who can defensively stop another offense at half court, get them out of their rhythm. That's what you want on the floor. Plus, he can handle the ball offensively. So those are my three I go with. I don't want a big man because if you're playing in today's game, you don't really need a big man.
Yeah, but if you got the big man now, without you having one, what rebounds are you getting?
I mean, I can go find a serviceable four who could rebound. You know, we're just starting the team with the three. It's not the only three that are going to be out there.
Yeah,
No,
I can't
that's
argue
the
with
only
your
three.
squad, Struff. I mean, the glove, T-Mac, and Grant Hill all healthy. That's badass, dude. Just you ain't getting out the first round though because you got T-Mac.
I actually, after I was looking at my team, I kind of thought that Grant Hill and Penny were kind of redundant. Mm-hmm. But I never really thought about who else I would take. I'm going to look at it and see if I can come up with another third.
What I find interesting here, and tell me if I'm wrong with everybody from Twitter, nobody picked Steve Nash, nobody picked Reggie Miller, nobody picked Ray Allen, nobody picked Rondo, Chris Webber, Zoe.
Well, I think
Melo.
Nash and Powell would have been a nasty offensive force. I just wasn't picking Nash over Grant Hill.
Nash-
or Penny.
Nash actually got picked a couple times. And my
did?
response to all those people who picked Nash were, I'm just concerned about his defense.
Yeah, that's why I didn't
Not
pick him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Nash was a monster. Like,
Yeah, I'm not
that
saying
pick and
he
roll
isn't.
with
It's just
Powell would be
it was interesting that
dangerous,
it's just looked over. You know,
dude. And prime Powell, like pick and pop, or he'll yam on you.
down all day.
He'll catch a couple of oops, no problem. That'd be
yeah.
bad,
I mean,
dude.
him and Powell, I think, would be a lot like what he was with Dirk. Obviously, Powell isn't stretching the floor as much as Dirk is, but the way those two worked early in their careers, probably what those two would look like.
I think the only person who didn't get picked was Ray Allen, which is kind of crazy. Because I would take Ray
See, I
Allen
wouldn't
over
want-
Reggie, right?
Yeah, I don't want Reggie or Rondo.
I think Reggie was the last person I would pick on that list
Get out
Yeah,
of here.
probably.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, the
Fuck
only reason
Reggie
you're
Miller.
picking Reggie is because you want a deep threat, and if I'm taking a deep threat,
Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Ray Allen is better.
And I don't think
I'll
That
take
they
Melo
should have
over
put Ray
Reggie
Allen in a
over
Bucks
Reggie.
jersey, man.
Yeah,
or
Kev, I was about to say that because I don't think people remember prime Ray Allen. Like he would have banged on you at
Exactly,
will
yeah.
when he was in his prime.
Bucks or
And then
Sonics,
came down.
Yeah,
And then come
Yup,
down
he-
and bang
all
on
that,
you.
all those shooting threes. Like he shot a lot of threes before, but that was like a Celtics thing.
Jesus Shuttlesworth, man, they don't know.
Yeah, he got game.
Yeah, like Ray Allen was a monster.
Kev, since you weren't in on the group chat, when I originally picked Derrick Rose, which obviously McCoy stuck with all Chicago guys here, our thought was if nobody is hurt, is Derrick Rose ceiling what he was that MVP year, or was he going to get better as he went on in his career?
If he
Because
developed,
remember, he was 21. What was he, 21, right?
if he developed a jump shot, he would have gotten better. But he got hurt and didn't develop that. So
Well, that's what we're saying. With this
If-
scenario,
I
you don't
mean, I
get
don't-
hurt. Do you think he goes further?
well,
I thought he would. McCoy and Rich were a little skeptical. Thought maybe he was at his ceiling, just because
I didn't say
of
that.
the style that he
well, I'm
plays.
saying he was winning MVPs and he was. I'll give him his due. He was nice. And he couldn't shoot for shit. So I mean, if he improves his jump shot and then could blow
Yeah,
by
but
you,
neither can Westbrook, and he's working out pretty good for him. So
yeah.
I don't think
But
Rose- I don't
overall,
think
Russell
Rose is that-
Westbrook is cooler than D Rose. D Rose is a dirtbag.
That's not up for debate.
all this shit about that I just seen yesterday and today about D Rose. He was He was depressed or he was playing with darkness or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I saw it too.
Well, you know what? Maybe he should have recruited people when he was at Chicago before he got hurt, instead of sitting there going, "Nope, people want to play with me.
Yeah.
They're going to play with me." Shut the hell up.
If we would have got Melo that year, we would have been really damn good.
If we would have gotten anybody, if he had helped us. Bum ass Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose is actually the person yesterday I was talking to you guys about when I was saying I had something for him. Because
No, I was
I'm
wrong.
like-
I was wrong.
I keep on looking at this list and of the people who are like actually like superstars. Like I don't know how many are actually on here. Like Dwight was an actual superstar. T Mac
right.
was. Gary
Gary
Payton
Payton.
was. He was Derrick Rose, Grant Hill. Like
Steve Nash was a superstar.
yeah, like Derrick Rose might be the most. I don't. He's really hyped. Like people, like he was the youngest MVP, and it's like, oh, what he would have been. And I think we kind of
Shouldn't even have been the MVP. That was LeBron.
Exactly, Kevin. That was my other point. He's probably the most non-deserving MVP the league's ever had.
Yeah, they just wanted a different
Ever?
flavor real quick. They were
Like
tired of handing
it's
it
really,
to LeBron.
it's really a toss-up between him and Steve Nash.
Well, Steve Nash got it twice
Yeah.
when he shouldn't have either year. So I would have to say you'd have to say he is over Rose. And I mean, Rose had a nasty season. Like the
His
Bulls
season-
wouldn't have been where they were if it wasn't for him.
But his season was just as good as Russell Westbrook's that year.
See, Nash could
But what-
score. Nash could score.
Yeah, but what did Russ do with
D-Rose
his
all
team
day.
versus what did D
His
Rose
team
do to
made the
his team?
finals that year, didn't they? Or no, that was.
But he has
Yeah.
KD though.
Regular season
He,
MVP,
like
and
that's
I
going
think
to
the
take
Bulls went
away.
first that year.
Yeah, they were. They won 62 games.
See,
Right, like that's exactly why Rose was the MVP. Because where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, like he won it because of like the storyline.
Right.
100%. There's no way that you can tell somebody that he won it and his age didn't have something to do with it.
No, he won it because
The
of the
youngest-
storyline because of him not being LeBron.
And the fact that he was that young and he would be the youngest ever, I guarantee you played into the mind of those people because it just played into that hype you're talking about.
People wanted to act like LeBron had a rival.
that was prime LeBron
Well,
hate
that-
too. That was like
That was
the highest level of
every
LeBron
year in the
hate.
playoffs. Then
Yeah, I mean, that was something that people were building, looking forward to having because there's never been a rival for LeBron. At least not to that point, there wasn't.
Yeah, LeBron really never did have a rival.
Well, I mean, you could say the Boston team were
Yeah,
his
it was more
rivals,
like
not a
teams,
player,
Yeah.
you know?
if Chicago didn't
Detroit.
get hurt, man, like if Rose wasn't hurt like that, I think we could have definitely gave the Heat a run at that point. Like we always played them competitively. We just,
Yeah, and that's what people were hoping was that, look, Derrick Rose is the youngest MVP. maybe this is going to be the rivalry, and if he's leading his team and LeBron is leading his team, there's your head-to-head matchup. And then he went and South Parked his knees, and they just blew apart. Just how it happened. I mean, people do that kind of stuff all the time. They hype up something that happens off the bat and then doesn't always come to fruition.
Well, Straub, to answer your question, I think D-Rose ceiling. I
forgot I asked the question.
Exactly. You keep rambling, so I'm going to cut you off here. The D-Rose, I think I'm going to say no. He wasn't at a ceiling because you can work on that jump shot, and if he would have never busted his knee 28 times, I think he would have been. I think he would have improved because he was quick as hell, man.
Yeah, and his work ethic was never a question. Like he put in the work, So I think he would have definitely got better. How much better, I'm not sure, but I think if he was still playing and 100% healthy and never went through all that, he very well could be on like Westbrook's level right now.
But don't get it twisted. I'm still taking Steve Nash over D Rose.
So, Rich, back to this list. Let me ask you: was there anybody that had a team that was just egregious that you saw on Twitter?
Not off the top of my head. This one guy had Lonzo, Penny, and Scottie Pippen. Like that team is pretty good.
Lonzo? Zoe.
Yeah,
Okay.
Zoe. Yeah.
What? They're just putting Lonzo Ball in here?
Yo, that's what I thought too. Damn Lakers fans, man.
Rose, T-Mac, and Dwight. Like Rondo, Melo, and Pippen. Like I don't know about that one. Like,
I don't know about
No.
that team.
No.
Steve Nash, Melo, and Howard. Like they could have did
Some
something.
some of those teams weren't, or some of those people weren't really thinking about how everybody was going to play together.
The main thing that came out of this was people hate Dwight Howard.
Well, he's a clown.
Of course,
Yeah.
we already knew that.
Yeah, but like it's funny because like they hate him to the point where it's like you would want him on your team. It's like, yeah, if we're just picking primes and talent, like
He's
yeah,
not a Hall of Famer, right?
yeah, like
I
like
can't stand him either, but I'm not gonna just dismiss him. Like, I'll definitely hate on him, but like obviously the man can play. Back then, like I don't think he got any better. Offensively is what really stalled his career.
I think he hurt his back, and that was his problem.
That'll do it.
Just didn't give a fuck.
I think I just wouldn't want him on my team. If I'm starting a team, I don't want somebody who's going to laugh around and joke when it's go time, I want you to be out there and try and win, not joking around with Kobe Bryant before a playoff game.
Yeah, when you're playing against him.
Yeah,
You can be the best player in the league, but if that's what your mentality is going into a playoff game, you're not winning. I don't want you on my team.
I agree with some of that, but some of that I feel like I don't know, like it's that typical sports, like you got to be a tough guy
Yeah.
type thing, like
That's just his personality. Like he's probably been like that his whole life,
yeah,
Yeah,
just
and
because
I was-
he's
Him to that
joking.
moment. Yeah.
As a person, that's a great personality to have, but on the court when it's competition, I want you to be a little bit mean and
Yeah.
have that flip switch that you can flip and stop smiling for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it. I mean, that I've brought up that moment a lot because like I always thought it was weird that like he was trying to make Kobe smile, but like
Yeah, I was actually one of the reasons I was surprised that you picked him because you bring that moment up so often.
but prime Dwight, like his talent, he might be the best person on that list. Like he might be the best player on that list.
But did he ever live up to the hype? Like you were talking about the hype with Derrick
four.
Rose,
He won 4 Defensive Players of the Year in a row. He's the only
but he
person
never
to ever
really
do
was.
that.
He was never really a huge threat offensively, and people waited for him to be the next Shaq, where he was
Yeah, but
unstoppable.
look who,
And it never happened.
Look at that team that went to the finals with him.
Yeah, like,
Look
and
at the
I honestly
who
think
surrounded
if
him?
they would have went in 2010, they might have beat LA because LA couldn't match up with them.
They should have kept skipping instead of putting Jameer's bum ass
That
back
that
in.
was a big thing too.
Skip was
that-
killing it that year.
Your boy, fucking Jameer Nelson.
Like Dwight Howard was the #1 pick. He won Rookie of the Year. He won 4 Defensive Players of the Year in a row. Like he led the league in rebounding a bunch of time. Like people hate on him that year in LA, but he led the league in rebounding that year.
I think people hate on him in LA because Kobe hated on him.
Yeah, that was part of it too.
Yeah.
Like he had a hurt back and averaged 12 and a half rebounds. Like
Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't a good player. I don't know that he lived up to the hype that people kind of put on him.
Yeah, like I don't think he ever got any better. Like he came into the league and he's still the same damn player. Like, he's obviously worse now because his body's breaking down a bit and he's older. But I just don't think he ever got better.
Yeah. I think like
But I think he didn't
his
get better because
natural
he hurt his
ability
back.
and his size made him that good of a defender.
Right.
Nothing ever got better offensively for him.
Yeah, his
I think-
offensive game was shit.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, but he still got you 20 points a game.
Yeah.
Like
But that usually came off of rebounds, like cleaning up somebody's miss. You couldn't give him the ball. What was Dwight's signature move in the post?
well, yeah, he wasn't. But he
Can't
was
have
mean
one.
in the pick and roll. Like if you put him with Steve Nash, him and Steve Nash
Yeah.
are murdering you.
The problem with the big dudes like that,
He's gonna
like,
put
a
his
player
cape
like-
on.
You can't give him the ball at the end of the game and say, Dwight, we need a bucket. Get it. You can't put the ball in his hands and do that.
Well, yeah, because he couldn't shoot free throws.
What's he?
Like,
Yeah. Well, but even besides that, like, what moves does he have? Like,
Yeah, like he's not creating his shot.
he's not giving anybody the business on the block.
Yeah, but like, how many centers can you give the ball to and have them go do that?
Not many
Boogie,
anymore.
Anthony Davis.
Would you take a prime Boogie right now over Dwight Howard then?
Yes.
See, I wouldn't.
Boogie will get me just as many rebounds. Boogie will protect the rim, and he's not scared to get dunked on.
And Boogie is mean.
Neither was Dwight.
Yeah, but so Boogie's still a good rim protector, I don't think he's as good defensively as Dwight, but I think he's way more talented offensively to where
I think
I would
Prime
easily
Dwight
pick Boogie
locks him
over.
down, dude. Prime Dwight locks
Yeah,
him
I don't
down.
think- I
And
don't
he,
think Boogie-
he doesn't get any rebounds on Dwight. Prime Dwight.
yeah, right.
That boy could soar,
getting
dude.
rebounds on anybody.
Boogie can't get up as high as him.
You don't have
No,
to.
but I think Boogie would body him though,
Nah, too athletic.
and
don't
Dwight
think
would
so.
back away from the
No,
physicality.
I think you're underestimating how strong Dwight Howard was.
All upper body though. He don't have any legs on him.
Oh my
Boogie's
god, he
a
was
big
so much
dude,
quicker,
man.
dude. Like a cat, dude.
Yeah.
Boogie can move.
Boogie
man.
out there eating too many donuts, bro. Get out of here. You're gonna be looking like Zach Randolph pretty soon.
And I think Boogie's taking it to him on the other end when Boogie has the ball. Like Dwight's not scoring on him.
Sure.
I don't think
he would.
either
I
one of
wouldn't-
them are scoring.
Boogie's not a defensive stalwart.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do though? He has no moves.
The same thing he does on the.
He's
How
not-
do you, like you keep on saying he doesn't have moves, but he averaged 20 points a game. He'll do what he does. He'll get rebounds. He'll get lobs to the rim. He shot 60% and scored 22 points a game. Like,
Boogie scores more than that though.
yeah, and he shoots a lot worse.
But he shoots threes and stuff, and actually shoots because he can do something besides get a putback. Like that's Dwight's game, putbacks.
Not really. Like he did do stuff in the post, and he didn't just get putbacks, and
Nothing
he was
of note.
And tossing
Well, I mean,
Boogie
like, yeah.
shots back.
like, yeah, like that's. I mean, he would.
You're gonna put the cape
don't know,
on
I-
and soar on Boogie. I'm out. I'm all on Dwight on this. And I like Boogie too, but not a
Boogie
prime
will break
Dwight.
him down off the dribble.
No, he wouldn't.
He's too slow,
No,
man.
he wouldn't.
Dwight is gonna squat and get in position. Put
Boogie
put that
would
wingspan out there. There you go. He will do that. I'll agree
Like, yeah,
with
if
you
we're gonna
there.
do that, yeah.
2 points for me.
So it's D Rose
Yeah,
you're
but
going in
side
on,
note-
Stro? I mean, Rich.
What's that?
Rich, you were going in on D Rose. That
Yeah,
was the dude
like,
on the
he's-
list.
Yeah, he's,
All right. I gotta.
Who did you think I was
I
going
thought.
in
Well, as a Laker fan, and C Webb's dumbass for calling the timeout, that kind of popped in my head. But bitch ass Rondo was on there too, and then I saw Reggie. Man, I don't know. It was like
Listen.
that whole top of. I wasn't even thinking of D Rose. I was that whole
there
top
was,
man. Is
there was
shit.
that time there between like 08 to 2000, like 11 or 12, when Rondo was Rondo. That me, Anthony here, and Earl used to have heated conversations that we would take Rondo over Derrick Rose.
I wasn't trying to hear that.
Nor should you have.
Because when D Rose was a rookie, we played Boston in the playoffs.
And Rondo averaged a triple-double against them in the series.
But Rose was killing them too,
Yeah, but okay.
hitting game winners, and dropping like 30 points a game.
Yeah.
That's why
But-
people love D Rose, because he came into the league with that like.
I don't like either one of them, so just fuck them both.
No, Rondo was
Side
a
note,
beast,
when you
though.
guys were talking about Boogie, I was trying to remember. I think it's Anthony Davis, the big man from Kentucky. That no, not Anthony Davis. Cat that has the imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that him?
Is that still a thing?
I have no idea. I just remember one of you guys said that when he was about to get drafted, and I looked
I
it
don't
up,
think it is
and
anymore.
sure enough, he just talked to an imaginary friend on the bench.
He got rich and forgot about that.
He got some real friends.
I don't got time for you.
He changed.
I actually just got a tweet. Actually, whoa, 4 of them. I got 4 tweets, but one of them was he would pick C-Web and any 2 other names out of a hat.
Loving C-Web that much, huh?
Yeah.
It's
Yo,
Michigan.
you remember when I asked if anybody had like an absurdly bad choice? There it is. Like just any 2 other names out of the hat because C-Web is the man.
Give me Reggie.
Reggie Rondo and
Rondo,
C-Web.
C-Web.
That team wins 50 games.
That's funny.
It's terrible.
C-Web.
Fucking C-Web. I just remember him coming out in the, I forget what All-Star game it was, like 2000, I think.
Oh, with the
2000
with the
them
Tin Man shoes?
Them yeah. It looked like Straub's Halloween costume when I taped the aluminum foil all over your fucking self. Remember that shit?
Oh yeah, I probably still have those jeans full of tinfoil. Just gave up on trying to take that stuff off.
If you would have had the C-Web shoes, you would have been in there.
Kev, you used to
Some
love
of-
those
Some
Kings
of my
teams,
best
didn't
ideas
You?
come when I'm drunk.
What'd you say?
Didn't you used to love those Kings teams?
Oh hell yeah! I was because
Cowbell?
my buddy Dro was all about. Well, he was from there, NorCal, so we were always trying to see someone take out Kobe and Shaq, but it never happened. Fucking deep.
That's right.
And I was all about Vlade at that time with the stud, the Johnny and Earl and us and those stud teams. They had Vlade out there trying to get at Shaq. He would always get dunked on so hard,
Sacramento Queens.
flopping all over the place.
He said that shit in the preseason. You know, worried about the Queen.
The Queens. Oh Jesus, they're still.
The team was the worst.
They are. The
Imagine if LeBron just came out and said that about the Warriors.
Nah, that'd be great.
I actually think that would be awesome.
People would
I'd
lose
love
their
that.
mind.
I'm disappointed in the Warriors. They haven't done like anything to troll them after beating them. Like they, like right after like Draymond had his stupid shirt and stuff. But other than that, they really haven't done anything. Like LeBron was on them all last summer.
It's also kind of hard when you got cupcakes out there like KD just having
Yeah, I
2
was just
Twitters
gonna
and
say, you don't
screwing
even
up
know,
and
man.
being on the wrong side of the news.
They might be trolling, just not under their name, bitches. ain't no real man over there. They don't.
That's no fun for anyone.
They don't go hard in the paint. They're out there just hoisting up threes and got Twitter fingers with their fake names. I'm out on them.
Clay about to take that discount to stay though.
What a sucker.
Oh my god.
Is he really? Like, is that
He
just
said
something you're saying, or
no. He said he would. He would think about it anyway.
He said he would consider taking a discount.
You see the dude that sent Dirk a $20 bill in a birthday
Yeah, I
card?
did.
Here's $20 for all them discounts you took. I'm gonna send the Warriors a couple $20. Here you go, fuckers.
Man, they.
don't send the Warriors any money.
Discounting fools.
I just saw Dirk drain like a 17-footer with ease, and I was like, oh, it's still there.
Yeah, that'll never go.
That touch will always
He'll
be
be hitting
there.
that in 30 years at the YMCA.
That's only gonna get finer with age, dude. Jump shot. That's a YMCA thing. Jump shot.
Yo, he got to like 20,000 points last year or 25,000 points last year against the Lakers, and he was on fire
Yeah, he was.
for like the first quarter and a half. I think he scored 17 before he missed a shot.
Yeah,
He looked like
killing
you
us.
in the JFK gym, Kev.
I remember that shit in
Dribble, dribble, splash.
ripping nets.
Yo, it was amazing. Like, I wasn't even mad.
I remember seeing that shit on Sports Center, getting home, watching Dirk like it was 2000 all over again.
Yo, Dirk was a beast.
All right, so this is a good time to transition into some football. It did happen this weekend. I think Rich is pretty much tapped out. Kevin and I, with our Jets being 2-2, tried to talk some trash about his Brownies, and 3 weeks in, he gave up, threw in the towel. McCoy, your Bills, sitting in first place. You still going to try and ride with the Bucks, or you jumping back and circling the
Better
bandwagons?
get on that bandwagon.
The Bills start good every single season,
Oh, can we have the Jets and Bills conversation?
and everybody
No.
gets so hyped. And it's a waste of time. Like, you're not fooling me for the 20th
You're off
consecutive
that.
season, son.
You're off
Yeah,
that.
I've been off this. Like, you're not tricking me. I've been telling you guys.
Trick
for
or treat,
years, like,
motherfucker.
it's the same thing every season. The Bills start hot, win like 3 out of their first 4, like 5 out of 7 to start the season. It's like, oh, this is the year, and then they bomb it every season. So the Bills are going to end the division and end the season probably in. Well, the Jetsons' offense are terrible, so I guess they'll finish in second, but they'll probably max out at 7 or 8 wins.
Playoffs,
Typical
brother.
Jets.
They're making the playoffs.
No, you ain't fooling me.
So
Just to
just so everybody's
antagonize you,
aware,
I hope they do make the playoffs.
I'm not even going to cheer for them.
that would be funny as hell.
I'll
if that
cheer
happened.
for them for you then.
Yeah, I'll cheer my ass off for the Bills.
Watch
the
it,
Bills
win
make-
the Super Bowl now.
If the Bills make the playoffs, this podcast is Team Bills.
The Bills.
Except for Anthony, he's not
Yeah.
allowed to root for him
Yeah,
anymore.
And I,
you're out.
and I hope they win the Super Bowl.
Oh, well,
Red, white, and
I'm
blue.
not allowed to not root for him, so I'll be back in the game.
Hold on.
We dictate whether you're allowed to root for him or not.
Before we leave the Browns real quick. Have you seen the way Deshaun Kaiser looks now versus the way he did when the season started? That
Yeah.
shit looks
No.
like faces of meth, bro.
It really does.
Spent 4 weeks trying to get a win, but in Cleveland.
He said playing on the Browns is like being the president. You just age crazy.
Oh my god, dude, he looks terrible. He looks like fucking Roger from American Dad out here. It's terrible. They're gonna get that #1 pick now too. I'm pissed.
Yeah, because y'all are gonna beat him. Y'all are blowing
Yeah.
and tanking.
Yeah,
So,
our quarterback's
Kevin-
looking like a G out there with that
Yeah, but this is what happens.
German
with
blonde
Jets.
hair he's got.
They bring in some random veteran quarterback that's a journeyman, does good for a year, gets the hopes up, and then next year he's Ryan Fitzpatrick again.
Oh, we're not keeping McCown. Get out of here.
I'm well aware of that, but recent memory, you know. So we're 2-2. We should be 0-4. That was the hope going into this game against the Browns. Any
Jack-
chance
oh, yeah.
that any chance that we win, or lose against the Browns?
There's always
course
a
there's
chance
a
we
chance.
lose.
Really though, I mean, if they're that bad,
Okay, let's see. See, this is your problem.
But last week, Cleveland.
Right, so
come on, Rich, come on.
The Jets are so good now. Like, they can't lose.
Like, this is what happens. You go into the season hitting all the right notes, talking about how horrible you are, and then you beat the Jaguars and the fucking Dolphins.
And did
all
you
of a sudden
see?
it's like,
Did you see how we
we can
beat
beat
them?
this
Listen, man,
team.
I can't help
Hold
it that
on.
when I was watching the overtime game, I got the feels and got all
Did you
excited. I
see?
can't help
We
it.
should have never even had one touchdown. That touchdown Powell had for 75 yards. Did you see it? Tripped,
Yeah, I saw
tripped
that.
and fell on his face and got up and ran, and they gave it to
nobody
him.
touched him.
There's 6 that shouldn't even have been there. So we should have lost that game for sure. And Cleveland sat
the way to
4 of their
win.
top starters last week on D, so they're coming in fresh. At home.
Oh, they build it up before the Jet game.
Oh hell yeah! They know this is the one win they can get.
Y'all are screwing yourselves. You guys are going to end up with like 5 wins for no reason.
Oh dude, we're
Be like
making.
the 7th, 8th pick in the draft, and then pick the second quarterback on the board.
Well, you know
Not
what?
even,
It actually
dude.
it may work out
Picking
for me because I
defense,
want
don't
Baker
you know?
Mayfield. From
Yeah,
what
of
I've seen
course.
so far, I want Baker Mayfield. And the last time I saw Mel Kiper, he had him going as a second rounder because he's too short to play quarterback.
Man, we're picking defense.
How tall is he?
Drew Brees height.
Well, I don't understand why that's a thing. Like,
I
Get
don't
your
either.
ball
Like,
knocked
or,
down.
like- right, but
Clearly, if you're good enough, it's not an issue. Look at Drew Brees.
Right.
It's 1 in a million.
Hey, I'm just saying. Like,
Russell
that's
Wilson.
why.
Russell Wilson's like
Yeah,
5'10",
Russell Wilson can
Nicholas
scoot
Tiny.
though.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just saying why. I'm not saying I agree with it. It's a hell of a lot better than Teddy Bridgewater's hands automatically being too small.
Yeah, right. Like, just that sort of stuff is so stupid to me. Like, the measurables are so ridiculous anymore.
Yeah, they get a little bit too caught up in that kind of stuff, I think.
Well, I don't want a short ass quarterback. Get out of here.
Listen, man.
I'm out. You better be able to see over the line.
I knew that even though Jess hates sports, that she was the one for me when we watched someone way back, like it was like 2000, had to be 2009 or 10, and they were showing him in like workouts, like at like some like sports agent clinic, and he was running around. I forgot who it was. It might have been like Sam Bradford or someone. And she was like, "But what does this tell you about how he can play football? He doesn't have any pads on, and no one's chasing him." I was like, "Yup." I was like, "If you get that, more people should."
That's why Brady was out there running the 40 in cargo,
And cargo shorts.
Like, this does not matter for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing this in the game anyway.
Literally
The
never
kid
has
that
ran
said,
40 yards in a football
Eli
game.
Son, Eli Manning had a 14-yard touchdown run yesterday.
I saw
And
that
it was
shit.
the longest run of his career. And it was
He's
so
probably more
ridiculous.
yards than he's had the last 3 years combined.
He ran 15 miles an hour too. I saw it on SportsCenter. He was scooting out there.
You all saw Jay Cutler run the Wildcat?
Yeah, just sat there with his hands on his hips.
Yo, Matt Ryan, the Falcons went to do a Wildcat yesterday. And Matt Ryan went to hustle out to
Probably
got
jacked up.
He totally busted his ass.
Oh,
Hope he just fell while he was running out there.
did you see
Yo, I've-
the Jags quarterback ran over the DB on the Jets? He scooted for like 20 yards and hit the sideline, and the D-back went to push him out of bounds, and Bortles just lowered the shoulder, dude. The D-back went flying. It's the best thing Bortles did all his whole career.
He should have came out the rest of the game. Bortles is awful.
Trash,
Yeah, he's
dude.
so
He
bad.
is awful.
Almost beat us too.
Every
So,
week-
Kev, since we're on the topic of the Jets, let's go into your quarterback update this weekend.
Man,
We still have Drew Rosen at the top of your list.
Rosen, yeah, he's up there, and I really like the dude from Oklahoma State, Mason Rudolph. But everybody's falling off, man. I'm kind of glad the Jets are getting some wins. No one's really like, I don't know if it's just because it's early in the season, but no one's really standing out. I mean, I got some dudes with good yardage, good touchdown interception ratio, but Darnold sucked. You saw him get whooped up in Washington State, and then all the
No, I didn't even pay attention to him because last week we agreed we were taking him off the list.
Oh, he was terrible, and he lost the game with a fumble. Like he looked like Mark Sanchez out there. And it was great. It was great because there was a whole bunch of Sam Darnold USC fans out there, and they had Jets jerseys with his name on it.
I
in
did
the
see a
stands.
picture of that.
But no, I don't even think. Let me look. No, he didn't even throw a touchdown. He threw a pick and fumbled on the last play to lose it. So, and he's got 9 touchdowns, 8 picks, and they're already like I heard Kuiper and these dudes talking about he needs to stay because the interceptions are way too high.
Yeah, I mean he's young enough. That's a good point. If he does have such a bad year, he could stay and try and build back up again for next season.
The dude he played against, though, and I told you before, Luke Falk, he's nice, man. He's a senior out of Washington State, and he's got 16 touchdowns and only 2 picks and over 1,700 yards passing, and he's over 75% completion. So he's nice. He's looking good, and they're already starting to talk about it. Him and Rudolph from OK State are the top 2 new guys. But I think it's going to be someone from not a big time school unless you go Rosen, and that's what I would go with because he's got the most arm talent.
Yeah, I've heard people kind of bash on him a little bit because his team is losing, but we talked about it last week. I mean, I don't really care about your team winning or
You
losing
still
in
need
college.
players, You need
Yeah,
You need
exactly.
playmakers, impact player. You got to have a star underneath you.
Should have got Mitch last year, son.
I know.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say he's starting
About to start this coming
Monday
week.
night under the lights.
The Mike Glennon project is over, and here comes Mitch.
It's
Saving
Minnesota.
the day.
Minnesota, the unluckiest
that's
team
not-
Yeah,
out
they're-
there, dude.
No, they're throwing him in against the best defense on Monday
Yo,
Night
they are the
Football.
unluckiest team, though, man. Bridgewater
Oh,
with
Minnesota?
that injury, and then
Dalvin Cook goes down.
He got the complete ACL tear too. So
And non-contact
Yep.
too. Nobody even touched him.
yeah.
Nope.
Those are always the worst ones.
Oh, and remember I sent you guys that picture of Sproles and his injury from 2 weeks ago? You know that he announced that this was his last year. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. He was like, "I'm going to retire."
Oh, that's how his career is.
Before that?
That's how his career is ending with a
back in
torn knee and a broken arm.
before preseason. He said, "This is my last year. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going in." And then in one play, the same play, he breaks his arm and tears his ACL.
That's why, he's been in the league for how long? You know, he's had a hell of a run.
It's been probably 7-8 years.
No
Been a while
longer
for
than
him.
that, man. Think about him
Yeah,
back
he's
on the
been around
Chargers
for
when
10
LT
years,
was there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I think the size thing is stupid. I mean, obviously it's a different position than QB, but that dude's a crazy small guy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you could play, you can play.
Yeah, but breaking your arm and tearing your ACL on the same.
Yeah, that
play,
is a rough way to go out.
That's football.
You're gonna have to send the football ambulance on the field to come peel me off the grass because I'm not even moving at that point. Like, fuck
The
it.
ambulance comes out and starts running dudes over.
All right, let's jump into four corners. McCoy, why don't you start off this week?
I will start off.
All right.
Well, you know, we got the NBA preseason just started Friday. So we got, basketball from now till June. So I just want to ask you guys if we think anyone's done enough this offseason to compete with the Warriors and hopefully give us a more exciting playoffs this coming season.
Fuck yeah. The Rumble and Thunder.
Fuck yeah,
baby.
more exciting, or fuck yeah, somebody's improved enough, Kev?
Both. I think
Okay.
one, it's more exciting off the bat with the improvements to Houston and OKC, and all it takes is for one of them teams to gel. Good, like look at how the Spurs beat Miami. That ball movement, moving all over the place. Let OKC gel like that, and they could take them out. So I'm more excited just off the fact that it could happen. Last year I'd chalk it up, dude. I hate them assholes too.
You know, when we talked about the trades for Kyrie and IT between Boston and the Cavs and all the other moves that have been made, I didn't think that the Cavs really improved, but the more I think about it, I actually do think that they have. I think that they could give the Warriors a run for their money if everything goes the way it needs to go and Thomas is healthy and they gel together and they can get the usage that they want out of Crowder playing him instead of Thompson in that 5 role, because I guess that's where you're just going to say we're going to put him. So I actually do think the Cavs have, but I don't think the league's going to be any more exciting because it's still just the Cavs and the Warriors, and I don't know that the gap between the Warriors and the second best team in the West has gotten any better.
I think it's all exciting. Like, I'm here for all of it. I don't think the Warriors, if any team is going to go to 4 finals in a row, it'll be the Warriors. But I think there's a good chance they lose in the playoffs this year. To that Houston team, maybe to the Thunder, to one of those teams. I mean, the team that, when they lost 2 years ago, they were down 3-1 to the Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know people complain that, it's all predictable, we know who's going to be there, but I don't really agree with that because, like, the Thunder were up 3-1, and no one saw the Cavs coming back from being down 3-1. Like, some shit has happened every year that's, like, is kind of exciting.
It has, except
Like, last year was the first year where it was, like, all, like, chalk. Like, this team beats that team because that makes sense. Like,
and that's what I was going to
that's
say.
why it's
is
more exciting off the bat.
The examples you're using were the Warriors pre-KD. With him, there's really nobody that's touching them.
yeah, but that's just because that's what, I don't think, I'm going to say, I don't think they're going to make the finals this year. 4 years in a row is too hard to do.
It's a lot of
Sweeping
basketball.
declaration.
I did it
That's
7.
it right there. You're calling it?
Yeah, the Warriors aren't going to make the finals.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rich.
Like, I don't know who's
Of
going
course
to
you
make the
are,
finals yet.
Get out of
But
here.
I don't think they're going to make the finals.
All right.
4 years in
We're
a
gonna
row.
mark it. I'm gonna mark it down and put it on the board here so we can keep track of it throughout the season.
Well, what is there to keep track of? Just
Just
waiting
to
for June.
remind, you.
wait for
That's all.
June.
Every once in a while, hey Rich, remember?
Yeah, but they could be fucking 76 and whatever. like it doesn't matter. They won 3 games the one year. They were down 3-1.
Yeah.
That Thunder team
Lost.
should have won that series.
Yes, they should have.
But
Katie's-
Durant was still falling.
Katie's
man.
a bitch.
God, he fell so much.
So much. Every time. And then Russ got
Every-
to shit because he was heaving up a shot after it.
Because he was like, "What do you want me to do?"
Yeah, we don't have time now. This dude fell.
Yeah.
McCoy did. What was your answer to your own question?
My only thing, like you guys bring up, like, the chemistry the other teams have to build. The Warriors already have a year of that behind them. So they're just going to get better at this point. Yeah, that was crazy.
That video
I
you just
think,
sent,
like,
Rich.
the Thunder can compete with them. I think the Rockets can definitely give them a run. But, just like if I had to pick today, I wouldn't say any of them are going to beat them because the Warriors are just going to continue to get better too. So I would say no, but I think, like, the moves that have been made in the league, I think the playoffs should definitely be more exciting overall than they were last year. So
Hell yeah.
I'm happy about that.
Can I get a game 7?
Yeah, exactly. Like, give me some damn game 7s. Like, how many did we have in the playoffs last year? Wallens, the Celtics, and that's it?
I think just the one.
Maybe one more? Like, it's crazy.
No, I think that was it. Just that one.
But like that happens sometimes. Like people were freaking out about it, but like that just like some years they're not going to be as exciting.
Yeah, I don't need the game
It's
You know what I
7,
mean?
but
Like,
they were all like 4-1s.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it was so bad. Like, you guys, a lot of the series got to the point where, I was just like, well, I don't really need to watch this game 5 because they're already up 3-1, or whatever.
Exactly.
Like,
There was
like, what's the point?
five,
They're
yeah,
not gonna
exactly,
come back.
McCoy. Like, if you can't give me a game 7, at least give me an intriguing game 5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't
and,
want
like-
every series to be 3-1 with going back home for whoever's up or something stupid. Like,
I agree with you guys that like last year was kind of like whatever. Like that first day was like
was
awesome,
awesome,
because we
dude.
had that good
Oh,
game
man.
between the Cavs and the Pacers. What Strub? You came in and had like 530 text messages in the group chat. 'Cause we were
You
going,
got done with a baseball game.
like that first day was fly, but
It
like
was.
sometimes it's just not going to be exciting. Like, and I just don't like the broad brush that like people paint the NBA with because of last
So
year.
you think
It's like-
last year was an anomaly with
I
the
think
way that it
sometimes it
went?
happens, yeah.
Okay.
Like
it's just such a letdown.
I hope you're right.
Like,
It is,
Yeah, I
yeah,
hope
so-
you're right.
For the season, and then
yeah,
like that happens in the playoffs, and it's like, damn.
yeah, and then
Now I
like
gotta
the
wait
result.
another year for this again.
Yeah, and then the result that happens that you thought was going to happen, and it's like, oh, well, this was stupid.
Yeah, like, I
But-
don't even care if the Warriors win. I just want them to be challenged,
Yeah, I get that. But I just don't think people should take last season as like, well, that's how it is. Because the year
No,
before
absolutely.
we got 2 3-1 comebacks. The year before that, like the
Yeah,
Warriors,
So far.
like the Warriors were good, but no one knew they were going to be like that good, and they struggled with the Cavs. And
And it wasn't that long ago when I remember visiting. Me and Kev were back home at the same time, and we all watched the Spurs against the Heat at
Exactly.
Sam's place. Like that was an awesome series.
Yeah.
Maybe we've been a little spoiled,
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like we got so many good series and so many like good runs. It's like last year was just kind of like, what the fuck is this?
That's why the NBA is the shit. Keep it
It
coming,
is.
NBA.
I was really hyped watching these preseason games when they were on. People were getting banged.
Yeah, when I saw it on the schedule, I was pumped, man.
Biombo already got dunked on.
Rich, why don't you keep it rolling and take your corner?
All right. Before I take my corner, I told this new website / Twitter account that followed us and I've been talking to. It's called Daily Sports Operations, Daily Sports Ops, on Twitter. It's kind of a cool idea. Like, it's these two guys who have a sports blog, and if you're a fan and you want to submit anything you write, like if Kyle, if you want to write something about UNC's lack of good recruiting, if McCoy wanted to write something on the Bulls, if Kev wanted to write something on the Jets, you could email it to them and they'll post it for you.
Okay.
So I thought that
So
was
it's
a
kind
pretty
of like
dope
the
idea.
Players Tribune kind of deal, but for fans.
Yeah, so it's Daily Sports Operations, Daily Sports Ops on Twitter. It's a pretty cool idea. Um, but my corner is going to be the one and only LeVar Ball
Man, the myth, the legend.
and how he's taking his youngest son out of high school for the next 2 years to homeschool him and, quote, make him the best basketball player ever.
Ever.
How do you guys feel about LeVar doing that? Because I'm
He's-
cool with it. People take their kids out of school to homeschool them all the time. You know,
If the son is fine with it, then I really don't have an issue with it. I mean, you know, if that's what he wants to do with his life and he's not just doing it because his dad's making him, then, you know, that kid's old enough to make that decision.
People are
So,
homeschooled all
you know,
the
it's
time.
obviously, yeah, like, I mean, it's obviously not what, you know, people expect or what people do, but, like, with all this NCAA, like, you know, the FBI investigation and stuff going on, too, like, you know, maybe this is a better way. I don't have a problem with it at all.
yeah, I'm cool with it. I mean, kids move around from prep school to prep school every year as it is. And, like, you know, people get homeschooled all the time, like Kev said. So
Is
That's
I
what he
have
wants to do.
zero problem with them homeschooling his kid. Like, go for it. I think some parts of college are completely pointless and useless. So, go for it. Plus, they don't plan on having him there for more than a year. Homeschool away. What in the hell is he going to do that's going to make him better and ready for the NBA, though? Like, what's he going to go play backyard basketball, and that's going to make him ready for the NBA?
Well, I would imagine he would bring in, like, you know, I mean, with his brother being in the NBA, it's not like they can't get people to work out with, and he can literally go train with Lonzo, I'm sure, if he really wanted to.
yeah, and he got Lonzo ready for the NBA.
So the
Like,
Lakers are just going to be cool with his little brother being around.
They gotta be because dad's around.
he doesn't have to.
The NBA
he
is going to
doesn't
be
have-
cool with that because that could be viewed as collusion.
But he doesn't have to go to the Lakers or an NBA facility to work out. Like,
Nah, just
Yeah, right. They can go to UCLA.
Send
they
a
can
couple-
go-
or they can go to any random gym and be like, "Hey,
But that's what I'm saying.
Jordan
Like,
Clarkson,
just
come work out
but
with
just
us.
but just working
or just
out
even a
isn't
couple
going to
of
make him
your,
better. He's got to play in games. He's got to
sports
play against
therapists, man, your
competition.
trainer, just go here. I'm gonna bring some of this equipment on over, and you're gonna do these drills. And
Yeah.
it's way better than me playing against other 16, 17-year-olds that are trash anyway.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah.
right."
There's,
The clips of him in
definitely
high school last year were kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, some, but I'm sure not all. I mean, I think it's more beneficial. I'm with you, Rich. I think,
Oh no, I mean like they were ridiculous in the sense that like it looked like you in the gym again, Kev.
Oh, right.
Like it was just like like he was doing what he wanted to these kids.
just playing little kids, man. Like
Yeah,
16-year-old kid that's
ain't
about
even going
to.
to college to play, so
Hell no.
right. He ain't trying to
you
get
know, they're
dunked
not
on.
ready for him. Is he gonna go to college still? Like, because he's pulling him out of his last 2 years of high school, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, like I don't think he is either. So like,
'Cause-
so this is his junior. It was supposed to be his junior year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, what's he gonna do? Just go straight to the G League or overseas, right?
I think we're just not going to see him for a few years, and then he's going to show up in the 2020 draft at like 6'10" with a mean jumper.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, I told you, I heard that he's just gonna go somewhere and be a walk-on. Lonzo is gonna take some of his Lakers cash and pay for the student loan or whatever, and then he's just gonna go somewhere and be a walk-on and go to the NBA after a year.
If LeVar breaks the whole mold, I'll love it.
That's
That'd be awesome. Did you see like at the Lakers preseason game there was like a line to shake his hand to take
Yes.
pictures with him?
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
They're about to play in like 15 minutes.
Oh, are they? Who they playing?
I don't remember off the top of my head. The
Pop
Nuggets.
that one on while
You can't.
not
It's on
on
NBA
NBA TV,
TV.
is it?
It is.
yo,
Here,
Pass needs to get it together.
so to stay on the LA side of things, I'll pick up my corner here. The LA Chargers. So you guys remember, like, what, a week ago I sent you that text about how the Chargers can't get shit right. They can't fill up the stadium. They blowing off the game-winning cannons when the guy misses the game-winning field goal. It's just charging people $100 to park. So this week, it was a sea of green, and all of Philly was in the StubHub Center, and they're talking about trying to move the LA Chargers back to San Diego because they can't get anybody from around here to go. What do you mean to go back to the games? So they're like, we got to find a way to get them back to San Diego. So I was like, man, is LA gonna lose a team that quick? They couldn't do it.
Is San Diego just gonna welcome them back with open arms now?
It looks like
they're
it.
just gonna be like, yeah, bring your shitty team back. Like,
Well, I don't know.
just bounced on us.
San Diego's pissed. I told you that guy down there. He gives away the taco shop owner gives away free tacos every time they lose now because they bailed.
That's
And
what I'm saying, though. Like, you can't just leave and then try to come back a year later because it didn't work. Like, the city should be like, no. Like, I'm not. They should straight up be like, well, we're not buying your new stadium ever. Like, get out of here.
I know. Well, they're not. If they do go back, it's got to be privately funded. So just like the guy that has the Rams came out here big balling and is building his own stadium.
Nope. It's probably just about to throw 'em-
Do the Rams
Right,
have these problems?
Well, they do, but they're trying to fill a 90,000 seat stadium where the Chargers can't even fill a 30,000 seat stadium.
Oh, because they're not in that big complex yet, right?
Nah, yeah, they're in the Chargers
take the
are in
reins
the
on that one, Kev?
Galaxy Soccer Stadium, whereas the what do you call it? The Rams are in USC Stadium, the Coliseum. So that shit fits like almost 100,000. So it looks empty, but they still got like 50, 60,000 people there.
Oh, so they're straight then.
Yeah, and
By any chance, how many seats the new stadium is gonna have?
I think it's around that 50, 60,000. It's not gonna be like a monster. It can't be. It's gonna be an Inglewood in the hood, yo.
Yeah, Inglewood always up to no good.
You know it. Well, it looks like we lost Straub, so I guess it's a 3-corner.
Oh yeah, he didn't do his, did he?
No,
His corner was probably trash anyway.
he's throwing cornbread at people, so he had to leave early. Yeah.
That's what he really meant when he said he was out hunting earlier.
Yeah, he's gathering up them cornbreads. Now he's out there throwing it at people, leaving the podcast early.
Yeah.
Peace out to the people.